Free Julian Assange!
Free! Free!
Julian Assange!
Only one decision!
No extradition!
There is only one decision!
No extradition!
Inmate!
Our mate!
Julian Assange!
Inmate!
Our mate!
Julian Assange!
Free! Free!
Julian Assange!
Free! Free!
Julian Assange!
Free! Free!
Julian Assange!
Thank you.
Seen the light.
Suppose I should carry one. They reveal their true colours. Hey!
Okay, welcome to the 134th week of Julian Assange Sydney town hall gatherings. Fear has been used to justify the bringing in of emergency legislation to undermine democracy. In 1917, just 2 months after the US entered the First World War, US Congress passed an act directly contravening the First Amendment of the US Constitution on the basis that war required unprecedented measures to be imposed on people to ensure national security. While the First Amendment prohibits the passing of laws against free speech, the Espionage Act of 1917 made obtaining information, pictures or descriptions pertaining to national defence a serious offence. If it was done for the purpose of harming the United States or benefiting a foreign nation. During 1919, the Supreme Court Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes Jr. wrote that the dangers associated with wartime made it necessary to restrict First Amendment right to freedom of speech. In 1973, Daniel Ellsberg, the former defense analyst responsible for leaking the Pentagon Papers, revealing, among other things, that US involvement in the Vietnam War had been ramped up through fabrication of the Gulf of Tonkin incident. The leaked information was published by the New York Times and other news outlets, but no media organisation was charged. However, the US government decided to charge Daniel Ellsberg under the 1917 Espionage Act. But in the end, the charges against Daniel Ellsberg were dismissed, and he is now widely recognised as an American hero who acted in the public interest. In 2010, Julian Assange published information revealing US war crimes in Iraq. Although Julian took great care to redact the names of innocent people that could potentially be harmed if they were identified by enemy forces. A fear campaign was launched by the US to suggest publishing the information resulted in the deaths of Americans. But during the trial of Chelsea Manning, the whistleblower responsible for leaking the information that Julian published, it was established that no one was harmed as a result of any of Julian's publications. Shortly after Julian Assange was taken into custody in the UK, and consistent with the US narratives, the US decided to charge Julian on 17 counts of the Espionage Act. This is the first time the Espionage Act of 1917 has been used against a journalist. There is overwhelming agreement among journalists that Julian should not be charged for publishing information in the public interest. The open letter signed by almost 2,000 journalists from around the world states, quote, "In a democracy, journalists can reveal war crimes and cases of torture and abuse without having to go to jail. It is the very role of the press in a democracy. If the government can use espionage laws against journalists and publishers, they are deprived of their most important and traditional defence of acting in the public interest, which does not apply under the Espionage Act. If the 1917 Espionage Act can be interpreted as overriding the First Amendment of the US Constitution, then corrupt power will be at liberty to do anything it likes. Time and again, fear is used to justify the loss of our human rights. We must realise how corrupt power manipulates people with fear. We must stand up and stop this nonsense. We must unite to free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange.
We're all lit up for Vivid in Sydney, so we're wearing lights, and we've got some lights for Julian, and a lot of people are coming to speak to us. I think when you're wearing lights and pom-poms, people feel that you're approachable and you're not going to and lovable. You're not going to scare them. Ithaca, the documentary movie showing the human side of the travesty that Julian Assange is facing, is showing on iView TV. I urge you to watch this movie for an understanding of the human toll of this tragedy that Julian Assange faces. If he's extradited to the United States, he faces 175 years in jail and will die in horrendous conditions in a maximum security prison for the crime of telling the truth, the crime of embarrassing the most powerful and malicious people in the most powerful empire in the world. An empire which is slowly crumbling from the weight of corruption and misconduct of the politicians, corporations and administrators of its government departments and agencies. Julian said that it's not WikiLeaks that the United States is afraid of. It's not Julian Assange that they are afraid of. What does it matter what I know? What does it matter what WikiLeaks knows? What matters is what you know. It's stated in Ithaca that since its launch in 2006, WikiLeaks has published over 10 million documents exposing unreported war crimes, corporate and government corruption, toxic waste dumping, systematic torture of civilians, nuclear accidents, extrajudicial police killings, undocumented civilian deaths, secret US government drone strikes on civilians, and US surveillance of UN officials and political allies. WikiLeaks has helped the people of over 200 countries. Whistleblowers have provided information on countries like the US, UK, Australia, Canada, Russia, China, Israel, as well as many other countries. Julian set up WikiLeaks to protect the innocent and hold a light to reveal the truth hiding in the shadows. Julian Assange is worth fighting for. He's won numerous awards for his journalism, including a Walkley Award, the most prestigious award for journalism in this country. Without a free press, we cannot have transparency and accountability of government. Big business and politicians will act in their own interests and not in the interest of the people. The people are worth fighting for. Our children and the next generation are worth fighting for. Stand up, telephone your politicians, write to them, ask them to demand the charges be dropped and Julian be freed. Get out on the streets. You will feel empowered when you do. We do not want to lose this man to the very people who planned his murder. If we allow this to happen, freedom of the press is gone, and we will not get it back. We will not get Julian back. When it's gone forever. Free inmate, our mate Julian Assange.
Free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange!
Free Julian Assange! Free
Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange.
Free Julian Assange!
Bring Julian home. Website.
Yeah.
We single-handedly stopped the war in Iraq. He's currently in jail in Belmarsh with any time a decision to be made for him to be
All
extradited to
those-
the US, where he'll either
All
get
the top,
70
all
years
correct.
or without.
Have a leaflet, well, you got one.
Oh, thank you.
What they've done to me, this cannot be done to Julian. Yeah, it cannot be.
We are all Assange.